How long can you stay calm in the presence of darkness? Are you one of those tough people who doesn't go crazy in horror houses where the lights are out? Or perhaps you're the type to feel instant fear when electricity gets cut off and you're in a room so dark. Either way, haven't you ever wondered, why are humans so scared of the darkness? Let's find out. Hey there, welcome to our channel, Eventful Insights. Today in this video, we'll be discussing another fear that envelopes a person when the lights are out, the fear of darkness. So let's find out. Why do you humans seem to be naturally scared of the darkness? What are the psychological reasons and other factors behind it? Before we begin, let me invite you to answer this question in the comments below. Are you afraid of the darkness? Now let's begin. The fear of darkness is a primal human instinct. Our ancestors, who lived in forests, understood that certain animals hunted in the dark. Since we aren't the top predators, it's reasonable for us to feel afraid of the dark. According to Martin Anthony, a psychology professor at Ryerson University in Toronto and the author of The Anti-Anxiety Workbook, fear is similar to pain. It's a protective mechanism against potential harm. Anthony explains that this fear makes us more alert to potential dangers, and as mentioned, in the past people were more vulnerable to attacks from predators or enemies in the dark, he notes. As a result of evolution, humans have developed a natural inclination to be afraid of darkness. Though the fear of darkness is most common in children aged 3 to 12, affecting nearly 75% of kids, according to a study, many adults also experience concerns about the dark. Evidently, the global COVID-19 pandemic has brought significant disruptions to daily routines and lifestyles, negatively impacting mental health on a large scale. Particularly, there has been a documented rise of 25.6%, equivalent to roughly 76.2 million extra instances of anxiety disorders globally. Experts believe that the epidemic has additionally worsened the fear of darkness. And there's a genuine explanation for this widely shared fear, extending far beyond the ghost stories and frightening movies you've encountered, although those contribute to it as well. First, a person could be so scared of the dark because of an anxiety-induced fear. If your fear of the dark starts getting in the way of your daily life, it's worth looking into. According to Healthline, nyctophobia is an extreme or irrational fear of the dark or night. Nyctophobia is when someone is extremely scared of the dark. Kids and adults with nyctophobia might be afraid of being alone in the dark, feel anxious in dark places, and struggle to sleep in a darkened room. Just the thought of being in the dark can trigger symptoms that show up physically and emotionally. Someone with nyctophobia might experience things like panic attack symptoms, difficulty breathing, a tight chest, shaking, and a strong urge to get out of the situation. They might also feel disconnected from themselves and powerless against their fear. Meanwhile, for many, darkness simply brings out a person's fear of the unknown. Anthony further explains, many of the things that unsettle us are those we perceive as unpredictable and beyond our control. In the case of darkness, there's an element of uncertainty because we don't know what's there, he added. When people encounter a dark room or a completely black night sky, thoughts of frightening scenes from movies might arise, and children may imagine monsters. For someone afraid of the dark, the discomfort stems from a dislike of the uncertainty associated with darkness, according to Anthony. Our vision is crucial, and some animals, like big cats, had better night vision than our ancestors. In the past, people had to be on guard against enemies, and today concerns about break-ins still linger. When it's dark, our ability to see is limited, making it difficult to identify what's around us. Our eyes play a key role in keeping us safe, as Anthony points out. Color expert Beatrice Eiserman also agrees, stating that people associate black with the unknown because it conceals shapes and potential threats. Eiserman emphasizes that our perception of colors in nature has a significant impact on our emotions. Throughout history, black has been connected to the night, concealing anything suspicious that might occur in the dark. Before we continue, what are your thoughts so far? Do you like the color black, although it is associated with darkness? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're interested in watching other videos like this, such as unsolved mysteries or intriguing discoveries about our world, you can check out our other videos. Now let's continue. Nightmares and natural tendencies to be afraid also contribute. Crystal Lewis, a clinical psychologist and researcher at the National Institute of Mental Health, pointed out that people might fear the dark because of what they see or hear, thoughts in their minds, or negative experiences. She also mentioned that some individuals have a built-in inclination to feel fear and anxiety, which may show up during the night. Also, our deepest fears often originate in our minds. For many children, and even some adults, the fear of a monster hiding under the bed is a common experience known as the sense of presence. This feeling is often linked to sleep paralysis, a condition where you wake up and can't move. The perception of monsters is attributed to unusual brain activity. Additionally, there are unsettling thoughts and emotions that we prefer to avoid, such as shame, guilt, anger, or anxiety. These feelings seem more intense in the dark because our brains lack the visual stimuli that usually keep them occupied and suppress these unwanted thoughts. Apart from our inherent fear of the dark, societal influences also contribute to heightening our anxiety. Many crimes in the contemporary world occur after sunset, and as we become aware of these incidents through hearing or studying, our fear of the dark intensifies. This widespread anxiety of darkness is more prominent in children than in adults. In fact, the fear of darkness lingers into adulthood for a considerable number of individuals, around 11% of the US population, as indicated by John Mayer, a clinical psychologist, in an interview with Glamour magazine. For some adults, this fear may stem from a negative nighttime experience, such as a robbery or an attack, associating the incident with darkness. Anthony suggested that being afraid of the dark might even be a component of post-traumatic stress disorder triggered by a negative incident. In such cases, seeking assistance from a mental health professional is advisable. And apparently, anxieties about the dark frequently originate from a fear of being separated from one's parent. As explained by Rachel Busman, a senior director at Cognitive and Behavioral Consultants and the former director of the Anxiety Disorders Center at the Child Mind Institute. As the pandemic was mentioned earlier, it turns out that the pandemic curtailed various opportunities for parents and children to spend time apart. Busman noted, kids were out of school and other activities for a long period of time, and therefore lacked the important practice of separating from their parents. But how can a person outgrow the fear of darkness? Using a nightlight while sleeping can provide comfort to both children and adults in a dimly lit room. For individuals with nyctophobia, having a small amount of light can be sufficient to facilitate falling asleep and maintaining a restful sleep. If a person is dealing with insomnia, a healthcare provider might suggest melatonin supplements or other medications to improve their sleep. In cases where a traumatic experience is causing distress, therapy or counseling may be recommended to help them comprehend your emotions and develop coping strategies. Additionally, medications could be prescribed to address depression or manage panic attacks. For children, Tamar Chansky, a psychologist based in Philadelphia and the author of Freeing Your Child from Anxiety, suggests selecting bedtime stories that turn overcoming the fear of the dark into a collaborative effort. Notably, a study highlighted by a psychologist revealed that children repeatedly exposed to a story about a boy conquering his fear of the dark experienced a reduction in similar fears and required less middle-of-the-night parental assistance. Moreover, everyone can benefit from comfort items like blankets or stuffed dolls. as bedtime can be perceived as a significant loss, a loss of comfort, protection, and safety, according to an expert. Using a comfort item can help ease this sense of loss. Establishing consistent bedtime routines is also beneficial for those afraid of the dark. Practices such as taking a bath or practicing mindful breathing techniques are helpful for both adults and children, as noted by Dr. Mari Kurahashi, a director in the Division of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry at Stanford School of Medicine. It's important for individuals to monitor their fears and assess if they're disrupting their daily lives. If these fears impact daily activities or relationships, seeking assistance from a mental health professional is advisable. Treatment options, such as exposure therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy, can help individuals confront and manage their fears. And there you have it. Those were the reasons behind a human's fear of darkness. What interesting fact did you like learning the most in this video? Share it with us in the comments below. If you liked watching this video, support us by clicking like, subscribing to our channel, and turning on the notification bell. Thanks for watching.